Did you guys miss us? Because we missed you. We're back with the 1265 podcast. Again, it is a podcast 100% focused on the Green Bay Packers. We're brought to you by allwisconsinathletics.com. All Wisconsin, all athletics, all the time. Eric, how you feeling to be back?
Awesome. Feels good to talk some football finally. It's been a while, unfortunately, but that has ended. So
yeah, I mean, we were going to do a show before the Super Bowl, but, I mean, things fell through. And here we are a little over a month later, and we're going to do the thing. So we're in the midst of free agency, as you all know. Began on Tuesday, and so far a lot of moves have been made. Trades were made, free agents were signed, and we're here to discuss some of that. We're joined by a special guest, his second time on the show, our favorite local sports anchor, Burke Griffin. Burke, what's up?
What is going on, fellas?
Not much. Just enjoying all this. My phone has been blowing up.
Yeah.
Just Bleacher Report, Twitter, this guy signed
never a bad
here.
thing, that's for sure. Yeah.
It's funny how the free agency opening Tuesday in March has become the day.
Yeah.
Like, you can speculate, you can talk about the combine, but that's when all the moving and shaking begins.
Do you think that that's bigger than the draft itself now?
No,
not at all.
I
think it's getting there, though. It's getting there.
Yeah, but look, 3 straight days of the draft itself, that's pretty awesome.
I mean, yeah, we're on, day 4 now, and things have finally kind of quieted down. But
just add to that. That's what's going to happen because you get all these teams like the Raiders and the Jets that just throw money everywhere they can throw it.
But the Raiders haven't really done that yet.
Well,
surprisingly.
And then you get the teams like the Packers and a lot of other wiser teams who just let things settle. And that's what's going on right now.
The Packers have always done that. And you still get the guys, you see Ndamukong Suh get signed by Miami. You see, Revis get signed by the Jets. And you see the same people that are just like, come on, Green Bay, you're just sitting there. Well, and they were 4 minutes away from a Super Bowl last year, and they did the same thing.
And if I remember correctly,
Peppers.
Bulaga was the best tackle on the market, and Cobb was like second best receiver. So
I mean, who was first receiver though? Who was ahead of Cobb?
Probably Des Bryant.
I guess.
And that's even hard to.
I guess, yeah.
I was gonna say, Julius Thomas, but tight end.
And then you got the things that are happening besides free agency. You got the trades. Jimmy Graham going to Seattle. The rich are just getting richer.
Right.
And that's not fun for any of us. It's been interesting. You're getting Chip Kelly, who I personally think is ruining that franchise for the next 5 to 10. I don't think he's being a smart man.
Well, they picked up DeMarco Murray, though.
I don't know. I mean, listen, is he going to fit in?
Fit in? What does that mean?
Is he going to fit in with that spread offense? I don't know.
Yeah, if you're a running back and you can run the football, it doesn't matter.
I guess, yeah. I mean, even, what's his name? The guy they just traded, McCoy. Yeah. He had a rough year last year. And then before that, he promised 2,000 yards last season. And
well, he was almost everyone's consensus #1 fantasy football guy.
Oh, yeah. If I had the
disappointed everybody.
Definitely. I was glad I got Jamal Charles instead of him.
Yeah.
But, well, the Packers, obviously not too loud on free agency, but they did re-sign their main guys so far. We got 2 signings, Cobb and Bulaga. What did you think about Cobb going into that? Were you one of those guys that was like, we need to sign him, or were you one of them that was like, he can go?
I honestly didn't think they had to sign Randall Cobb, and I know that sounds crazy to say it, but you let Jennings go, you recover from it. James Jones isn't quite on the same level as that, but no, I don't think they necessarily had to sign Randall Cobb. Might sound crazy now, but you got Devontae Adams and a couple unproven guys, Janice, Abradaris. They didn't draft 3 receivers last year in the draft for no reason. So
that's very true. What did you think about Cobb?
I don't think need is maybe not the right word, and want is applicable for both sides. Mm-hmm. It's clear Randall Cobb wanted to be in Green Bay, and Ted Thompson wanted him to be part of that offense. Now, the numbers are very Jordy Nelson-like. Maybe a little tad more here and there on the front end, signing bonus in the beginning of it. But $40 million, he's happy. And I think he still is always going to add that extra dimension that a couple of those other guys don't. Jennings, Jones, and the biggest part about Randall is his age. Yeah. He is a young cat. And Cobb is a guy who, in the slot, in motion, how much does he make Jordy better for those deep down the field throws?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And without him, does Devontae Adams slip right into that role? I'm not sure he would. I don't think so. I look at that wide receiving core, and who knows? They might even pick up another guy in the draft this year.
Good.
Yeah, you
Good.
never know.
I mean, Aberdaris and Janis are completely unproven. You don't know what you will get from them during the NFL season. We can talk about former Badger, college, preseason, different deal in the regular season.
If Aberdaris wasn't a star at Wisconsin, we're not even talking about him. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, no, I completely agree because everybody here is, it's Aberdaris. He was the magic man along with Russell.
You see things through rose, red, and white colored glasses.
Quite literally.
A lot of people do.
So, okay, if we didn't bring back Cobb, what do you think the course of action would have been? Do you groom Devontae to be that guy and then go heavy in the draft free agency?
There was all that talk with Andre Johnson and Percy Harvin and guys like that. I don't know. I still think, like you just said, like you possibly do still draft somebody.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Janis had 2 catches all year. If that might be generous, and then Aberdaris obviously out for the year.
Well, and look, we were all sitting here last September thinking Jared Boykin was going to be the number 3 guy.
Remember that?
And he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He didn't do. It was clear that once Devontae got the confidence and was on the same page as Rodgers, he was that number 3 guy, and they didn't have anybody else.
No.
It was Jordy, Devontae, and Randall Cobb. And he bounced back from that knee injury that he had, broken tibia, I don't think they've ever still said exactly what it was, but the injury bug doesn't seem to plague him. Is he a little undersized? Yes, but he also makes so many different things.
I definitely agree. When you look at a guy like Randall Cobb, 24 years old.
Well, and that's the thing I was going to add. That, and he's going to get another contract. Then we were talking.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. It's like, did Randall Cobb? A lot of people, he wanted to come back just for the title. And we can go with that, sure. But at the same time, he's going to be 28 when this deal expires. He's still going to be in his prime. Yep. He's going to have Rodgers padded stats for 4 years instead of like a Blake Bortles throwing him the ball. He's kind of investing in himself as well. I like to think.
And where is he going to have his own TV show, his own endorsement deals? He's not going to get any of that stuff elsewhere.
No.
He's a star in the making, and he's doing it right here. And he's also on par with, and you guys, you mentioned it, you look the Greg Jennings, James Jones. Let's get into the Deshaun Jacksons. You look at the age. When guys get in their late 20s and early 30s, they may only have that one contract left, and it might be a 1 year or 2 year deal. He could have 4. And then still sign another 3 or 4 year deal after.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Even in Green Bay or elsewhere, because he was at the time he was he was the youngest kid in the entire draft when he was taken 3 years ago.
So
I do think that they can say it's a minute for the ring. He is in it for the ring. He wants to cement his because he missed out. He was 1 year after they won the Super Bowl, and he's with that core of guys who all have that, and he's one of the ones that don't.
Yeah, and that's exactly with Greg Jennings and James Jones. They both have. How many rings do you need? I think if you get one Super Bowl ring, that's great. You can say you won a Super Bowl. Jennings, Jones, that's what that is. They won their ring.
Then one goes to Oakland, and then one goes to Minnesota. How many chances they have to get another one? Not too many there.
That's my point.
They got paid.
They got paid. Just
if you look at that roster, Rodgers is the only one who really, long term, you look at legacy. Mm-hmm. Those guys are all guys. They're all great players, and some of them will be in the Packer Hall of Fame one day. But it's not like any of them are going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, at some point in time, maybe Clay Matthews, maybe. But, I mean, Rodgers is the only one who really needs to get that second Super Bowl. Everybody else wants to get one, wants to get paid, and leave somewhat healthy.
Yeah, right.
That's about it, yeah.
And we'll touch base on leaving the game healthy, too, in a little bit, because in the last week, we've had 3 players under the age of 30 retire. Big statement. But Brian Bulaga, how much did we need him to come back? This, for me, Bulaga was more emphasized than Cobb coming back. Yeah, but I wanted him back more than I wanted Cobb, because I'm like, what's the point in re-signing Cobb if nobody's standing up to throw it to him? Right. You got to protect 12. What did you guys think about?
I'm gonna sound like I'm an idiot here, but I don't know that you needed Bulaga back.
Yeah,
you got Barclay. He's played. I know it. You have J.C. Treader, who is basically the same as Barclay. He can play anywhere on the line. Pretty deep offensive line in the draft, and I know offensive line's not the greatest position to draft round 1, but yeah, they have depth right now with I like Don Barclay, so I would.
And he's going to get his chance. What'd you think?
I think a couple names you mentioned there, J.C. Treader was coming off an injury, but in the limited action we did see him. He's sort of in that Aberderis-Janis category.
Yeah.
He didn't do very well in the Saints game. And when you look at big picture, he's versatile. He can play center. He can play guard. To have a 6'6" guy who's legit 300 and an athlete like Balaga, I don't think they overpaid. I don't think they went underneath. But I think giving him a contract that is basically exactly the same as Josh Sitton, that was a smart move. And TJ Lang's just underneath that, a little bit less money. But you've got the three of them, and they got a steal right now, bargains in Bakhtiari and Lindsley.
Oh,
and you
my
keep
gosh,
those
yeah.
five together. I don't think it was a must deal. Barkley would be a nice backup and a nice fit if you didn't get Balaga. But if he's not going to crush the bank and he's not going to get $8-9 million somewhere else, he's kind of like Cobb.
Yeah.
He's coming back now, and it isn't a hometown discount. He got paid. He got paid nicely. But when he is right, he's a mauler, and he's a real athlete. And he changes the dimension of that offensive line when he's good. And he had a freak hip injury. He had the knee. He came back from both of them, and you didn't miss a beat. Didn't really miss a beat.
And it was good. It was good to see, like you said, the New Orleans game. You know, you get that flash of a guy, and you're like, okay, grass isn't always greener, I guess. You know, but I mean, you bring back.
Well, he was in a
Balaga.
tough spot too.
Yeah, he was.
Loud environment
In the dome.
They had everything on the line.
Yep.
Gets thrown right in there. Hasn't really seen any game action because he got hurt in training camp. So they had no real live bullets, as they say in preseason.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, good luck, get out there.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't the easiest of situations.
Excellent point, Lane Taylor. That was his kind of.
Lane Taylor too.
Oof.
That was it for him. Well, I mean, obviously he's still hearing everything, but we kind of saw maybe what we have from him. He got pretty much manhandled in that Saints game.
But I
So it
guess,
doesn't make
yeah.
Maybe that's what
the
I was thinking
dome.
of instead of Treader.
It might have.
I mean, was Treader in later in the year when one of the guys got hurt?
Wasn't it Buffalo? Was
Yeah,
it Buffalo?
Possibly, yeah.
I know
Buffalo
Lane
somebody
Taylor
got
for
hurt?
sure was
Yeah.
in New Orleans. I
Yeah.
don't know about Treader.
Yeah.
But you got the starting five offensive line. You got them good through, 2017?
Yeah.
That lineup.
The word they use, cohesion.
Cohesion, yeah. And
Five 4 fingers and 1 thumb. You put them together to make a fist. That's what the old O-line coach used to say.
And that's what they were doing to a lot of teams last year too.
Well, and
Dallas
I-
brings a good one to mind. You know,
Yeah.
that
Well, they were
was-
sick of hearing about how great Dallas's offensive
Yeah, and you
line
saw
was.
what was it with Josh Sitton or Lang?
Yeah.
Lang just went off in
Yeah.
that game. But so I mean, we got our main guys back. There's still a couple guys I'd like to see back. I'd like to see him strike a deal with Tremont at the right price. I'd like to see him strike a deal with Raji, bring him back, put him at the nose where he belongs. Who is left that you think Green Bay should re-sign?
Well, this might not be the most popular choice, but Jarrett Bush. I mean, we've seen special team struggles, and Jarrett Bush is kind of that captain of the special team. So to have him out there definitely doesn't hurt.
And he was the whipping boy for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's 9-10 years in the league or whatever it is now. Now that A.J. Hawk's gone, he might be the second longest tenured guy. Either him and Tremont.
It's gotta be
behind
Bush.
Rodgers.
It's gotta be Bush.
Yeah.
Because Tremont bounced around a little bit. Yeah, I think it is Bush.
No, I think
So-
that's a good call. And special teams is clearly that's an area of improvement for
And
next season.
Yeah,
And he's
I mean,
good.
He was always that gunner.
Yeah.
Just right down.
Your guys that you throw the blame on are gone. Jones, Hawk, Bostic, those guys are gone.
Yeah,
so
no
now-
excuses.
Yeah, like you said, they're kind of, I don't know if it was you who told me this, but they're just kind of they're trimming the fat, so to speak. Like they're getting rid of some of these guys who, it was Brad Jones, it was A.J. Hawk. They're not here anymore, so.
Well, and I think, too, when you mention Tremont's name, look, character guy, quality. Is he on the downside of his career? Yeah, he's over 30. Is he going to make $8-9 million a year? No. But if you can get him back at 4 or 5, and does he really want to? Does he want to go and restart the tail end of his career?
Yeah,
At another spot.
Yep.
Now, if somebody's going to pay him 7-8, maybe.
That ain't happening.
That's not at this point. No, he left New Orleans without a deal.
Right.
I
And
think
look,
that was his shot.
If there's one place, he's from Louisiana.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's like the AJ going back to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
If there's one place that he would want to be, it would be with the Saints.
100% agree.
Yeah.
now there was that talk about him in Seattle, but Seattle,
Well, they signed and they
yeah,
found
they-
somebody else. Who was it?
I'm drawing a blank
They
right now.
brought in
Yeah.
somebody. Seattle brought in a corner, but yeah, like you said, I think if anywhere else, it would have been Louisiana, and obviously he didn't take a discount from them. He's not taking a discount from Green Bay. I think he's gonna be back. Now, thoughts on Raji?
if he can get another 1 year, $4 million deal.
Like a prove it to me deal.
Which the thing that I don't like is Terrence Knighton from Denver just signed the same exact thing with Washington, and I would take Terrence Knighton over BJ Raji any day of the week. So that I don't know. I don't know if the Packers were in it or not. I don't know. I didn't see anything saying that they were. Well, actually, they were. Well, something like the first day of free agency said they were, but this just happened yesterday.
Well, and Raji's injury is a freak deal. I
Yeah.
mean, you tear your bicep. I mean, that doesn't, it's not going to affect how he plays in the interior unless he re-tears it. And then you're looking at the end of a career.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to play. But if he's half as good, and he's never going to get that 8, 10, whatever big contract that he was looking for. And like you said, if there's pay incentive based on starts, production is very misleading when it comes to that position. Tackles, sacks, that doesn't always add up. You watch the game film and you see how a guy commands the double team, so the linebackers can make the play. And he's a wide body, man, and you can't have enough of those guys.
No.
Yeah, he's got to be kicking himself. That 4-year, $32 million deal that he apparently rejected.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the guys they could bring in. Oh, one more guy. One more thing I wanted to ask you guys. Who would you pick, Raji or Guyon? I mean, at this point.
If you have to choose,
you got baggage with both. Yeah, you got baggage with both. Who would you take?
I'd probably go with Raji.
Raji?
I probably would too.
Yeah, just the safer.
I mean, Troy's a good player. There's no question. I mean, he took his game to another level this past year. We have to wait and see how everything completely resolves itself, and with his issues in Florida and.
Yeah, that was
legal.
It's interesting stuff. Okay, are there any guys? I mean, I know that we're 4 days in right now to free agency. Are there any guys that you think Green Bay could still bring in from other teams? Anybody that's on the radar?
I had a list like 20 long. It's down to 2.
And who are those 2?
Brandon Spikes and Vince Wilfork.
What does Brandon Spikes bring to the table?
Because we don't have an inside linebacker.
But he got cut from New England, and then he signed with Buffalo, and he's gone from there too. What do you think's wrong with him?
I don't know, but I'm willing to take the risk because he's inside linebacker. Name the Packers starting inside linebackers right now.
Sam Barrington.
There you go. And you need 2 of them.
Yeah.
So Brandon Spikes, that's kind of, man.
I might be out of the loop on this one, but what about Lance Briggs?
He apparently, I would say
is
that
he retiring?
Too, but I don't know.
I didn't hear that.
The whole Twitter thing, like somebody just asked him, would you ever, and this was a point blank question, would you ever play for the Packers? He replied, no.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, this was like about a month ago. You didn't see that?
No, so that's some real blood.
I wonder if him and Peppers aren't best of buds.
Maybe not. Yeah. So I guess if I think about it, there's really nobody. Yeah. I mean, I say build through the draft at this point.
Yeah, and they've done.
Keep your same guys, build through the draft.
They showed they can do it.
Yep, exactly. And my favorite moves from free agency so far, I'd honestly have to go with Green Bay signing Bulaga Cobb. Also the trades that happened before. Nick Foles. I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of cool. What's your favorite move from free agency? If you had to pick like 2.
If I had to pick 2, getting Sue out of the NFC North.
Okay, so Sue taking his talents to South Beach.
Brandon Marshall leaving.
Yeah, going to the Jets.
As they relate to Green Bay specifically, what are the best moves? I think those are the best 2 right there.
Just in the league, what are your favorite moves that have happened? Like the best fit that you see happening? Like it just makes sense. Mine's Darrelle Revis.
Darrelle Revis. I mean, look, the Jets have made some strides. Clearly, Todd Bowles, guys will want to play for him.
Yeah,
there's no question about that. I kind of like what Rex Ryan's doing in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, for a team
that
beat the Packers this year and has the defense. And plays tough. They're making the right moves now. Quarterback,
Matt Castle.
Well, I mean, has that ship sailed? I mean,
AJ Manuel.
He was great when he filled in for Tom Brady, but he had his chance as a star. It's like they say when you have we've got 2 or 3 real good quarterbacks. That means you don't have one.
Yeah.
And your favorite move from free agency?
Well, obviously Sue out of the NFC North, Ndamukong Suh out of the NFC North, and then the other one I don't know if you'd call it a favor, but I'm just wondering what the heck's going on in Philadelphia.
Yeah. We can take a minute to talk about Philly, too, because think about it here. I texted you this the other day, too. You're a Philadelphia Eagle fan, right? And you lose. And in that stadium, the jerseys consist of Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, Nick Foles, and McCoy. Who else would you buy a jersey of? And where are all those players?
Right.
If I'm a fan, I am so angry. Like, wouldn't you feel a little bit like, what are you doing?
That's why I don't buy
know?
jerseys, actually. I have 2 jerseys right now.
That's why you got to go old school and get Bart Starr and Ray Nitschke.
One of mine is an old school.
Yeah.
Get the throwbacks. But, like, if you're an Eagles fan, though, are you not irate at this point? Or how would you take it if your whole team just got traded away or released within the last 2 years?
DeMarco Murray. I would almost, I don't know, in a way, I might almost take DeMarco Murray over LaShawn McCoy.
I think I'd rather have that fast pace. You know, when you had Deshaun and Macklin, and, you know, I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
What would you say, Bert?
Well, it almost seems counterproductive what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a guy who touts his offense as the flash and dash, not really the run and gun, but on such, you know, time limits, play call, get in, get out, up tempo, and the way he did his practices, those would seem to be the guys. Now, the only thing I can think of, and this is, I don't have any inside information.
Mm-hmm.
This is personal opinion. Maybe he didn't like their attitude, or maybe those guys were lazy.
Could be.
They can be the fastest guys on the field,
Yeah.
but if he doesn't like their laziness or work ethic, and he wants to bring in his own guys, you see that in every sport at any level. If you're a coach and you want right, like Mike, you know, Holmgren, and they've all said, if I gotta make dinner, at least I should be able to buy the groceries. Yeah, or Parcells. I mean,
said that,
yeah, they've all. So I think there's a little of that. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, if he's the scientist in the lab and he's got this formula that he thinks works for him and he wants to do it that way, we'll know by November.
Like I said, he either in the next 5 years is going to have a Super Bowl or he's going to ruin that team for the next 10.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
He'll be back in college.
Yeah, if that. I mean, really, you know, because he's got sanctions in college.
Well, and that's the thing. And in college, you can get away with more, and not get away because of sanctions, from a coach-player perspective.
Yeah.
You have far more control
Yeah.
at the college level.
Oh, yeah.
At the pro level, they're like, "Pfft, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid. If you get this, I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that'll be for another podcast. I got a whole
That's just,
coaching spiel I like
we
to
could do a
go
whole
on.
Philadelphia Eagles podcast. If
We could. It's bad. The draft, is there anybody in mind? I mean, you can go position or like anybody particular you want the Packers to draft. For me, my number one target and my favorite player would be Trey Waynes.
Yeah, and I've told you he's not gonna.
He's not gonna be there, but I can dream, you know. Or the Packers trade up, yeah, okay.
That would be nice.
But I mean,
Former
Kenosha boy, yeah,
Played with Melvin Gordon.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, anybody on your guys' radar for
my
Green
guy,
Bay?
and man, like he was a first rounder like a month ago, and I guess after the pro day I've always liked this guy, Trey DePriest, linebacker from Alabama.
I remember you talking
Outside
about him.
linebacker. I've been
Yeah,
high on him since.
you've been high
October.
on him and the Miami linebacker.
Denzel Perryman.
Denzel
Perryman,
Perryman.
yeah.
Of the two backers I would go with, it would be Denzel Perryman or Eric Kendricks from UCLA.
Yeah, that's
Those are
another
the two that I don't watch a ton of college football, but they seem to stand out, and that's where they have a need. One other guy, too, Jalen Collins, cornerback from LSU.
Yeah.
If they don't fix the
Yeah,
Tremont,
that's-
if Tremont's not back, and all of a sudden you got Sam Shields and Casey Hayward, and you're worried about Micah Hyde maybe having to move back, you don't want to do that.
Well, I think you do
It-
move Micah Hyde back because you don't.
if you need him.
Well,
But I mean, he excelled though this year.
Yeah.
you could tell he can command in the safety spot.
Yeah.
But again, so many teams run 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. What really
Yeah.
is a true safety anymore?
that's exactly.
Yeah.
The days of the Leroy Butlers are
They're all the
they're-
prototype.
you're looking at having
Basically,
3 to
you
4
put your
corners.
best guys on the receiver.
You put your 4 or 5 best in dime and nickel.
Yep.
See, I say they go corner. I say they go, if the guy's there, they go corner first, even if they do get Tremont, because you still got to groom that guy, or you know. And Hayward, I mean, I'm high on Hayward. I love Hayward.
Get him on the
runner-up
field.
for
Why is he
defensive
never
rookie
on
of
the
the year, right?
When's he ever on the field? I don't get that.
He's like
banged
the
up this
nickel
year.
guy.
Well,
right?
yeah, but he's how many times was he not even just this late in the season against Seattle? He
Yeah.
wasn't out there a whole lot.
I mean, I'd like
in
to
the
see him get
playoff
more ball time, but it doesn't seem like he could really play outside too much. We haven't seen much though,
Right.
so I don't know.
Yeah, because his rookie year he had 6 picks. We thought he was going to be the next
Yeah,
great thing.
remember that? I would just go. I'll go DB here. You guys will go linebacker.
Inside
I would go
I do
linebacker.
think if DB's not there, I mean, if you can get him in the second or third,
Yeah,
obviously
way
go
the board
linebacker.
falls.
Yeah,
I mean, way the board falls. You never know.
but I texted you guys earlier today, do like a mini, like little mock 5 here. Who do you have Tampa Bay going for?
I have got Tampa Bay with number 1 pick,
Yeah.
selecting Marcus Mariota.
Wow.
I did some thinking.
That's what I have as well, Marcus Mariota.
I'm going to go with the home stater, Jameis Winston.
Winston?
Selling tickets, selling jerseys. I
could see that.
Tampa Bay is going to go that route.
So why'd you pick Mariota over Winston? I mean, Winston's the unanimous favorite to go number 1. I haven't seen many people that said Mariota, but why did you pick Mariota?
I don't know. Honestly, that's my answer. I don't know. I just thinking, and that's just what I see. I mean, Mariota, that's what I would take. I would take Mariota over Winston any day. Winston's just, that kind of quarterback is kind of dying out a little bit, I think, Jameis Winston. Well, and actually they're kind of both that way, so my argument isn't valid there either.
Well, what I look at when I see Jameis Winston is I see E.J. Manuel. I see Jake Locker.
Dante Culpepper.
Not so much him, but
That's what I thought,
I see Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
I just see that in Winston. I don't buy it. I don't know. I mean, they could still take him, but I just don't think he's really going to pan out to be what everybody's saying. I think Mariota in the long run is going to be a much better quarterback.
Which is why I have him going number 2 to Tennessee.
And what would you pick?
I have Leonard Williams, a defensive end from USC.
Well, you and I agreed for 2 for 2 here. I took Williams as well.
Probably the best player in the draft, in my opinion.
Leonard Williams?
Oh, yeah.
Has nothing to do with you being a USC fan, right?
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, the guy is just a monster, for one thing.
Speaking of monsters, at number 3, I took Vic Beasley to Jacksonville. Everybody's saying he's got like more explosiveness than J.J. Watt. We'll see. Who'd you pick at 3, Burke?
I went with Dante Fowler, Florida boy, staying in Florida.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Defensive end. I think Jacksonville they need to get better up front, both sides of the football.
I was so tempted to go Cooper here.
Yeah, Amari.
Yeah. Just because they lost.
He's another guy. He could be 3rd. He could be 12th.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know where he's gonna go.
Well, and the Blackman. He's suspended
Justin
again.
Blackman.
Yeah, that guy. So who did you pick at 3 to Jacksonville?
Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley. Come on now. You looked at my paper.
You guys really way to be original, boys.
Yeah. All right. Why'd you pick Vic? Vic to Jacksonville.
You just kind of took my argument there. I watched.
You took my pick. I took your argument, right?
I watched the combine. I love watching the combine. I love the NFL draft. It's kind of my thing. So I watched the entire combine. Watched Vic. I mean, you can't tell a whole lot when a guy does a 40-yard dash, which in my opinion is the most stupid thing in the combine.
Unless you're doing it in an office, those videos are pretty good. Oh, I just got a phone call. Okay. Yeah. With number 4, I got Danny Shelton, nose tackle, going to Oakland out of Washington. What about you?
Actually, you are both. We're on the same page, just a couple spots off. I got your big boy Leonard Williams going to Oakland, stays in California. I went geographic, apparently. I didn't even realize I did this. Although at 5, I've got Washington taking Danny Shelton from the state of Washington.
Yeah.
Now it's not in the same. It's not Maryland.
There's still association.
But look, when you get those D linemen, you see it every year, man. When they start to run off that board, they all go quick.
Well, then,
like D-line is one of those positions you can't coach size.
No.
You can't coach that explosion.
You either got it or you don't.
You either get those studs or you don't. I mean, the difference between the 5th rated corner and the 12th rated corner isn't really much. They're almost kind of the same guy. But the top 10 D linemen and even sometimes the top 5, those dudes, they are at a premium.
My favorite defensive rookie last year was Aaron Donald in St.
Yeah.
Louis, and now he's paired up with Nick Fairley. Oh my God! Who'd you take it for?
4 at Oakland, Kevin White, wide receiver from West Virginia.
Oh, okay,
Speed
giving
guy.
Derek Carr
Speed
some
guy.
weapons. And he after his the combine and everything, he went ahead of him.
Yeah,
He beat a lot of people's projections. Number 5, I got Randy Gregory, defensive end, also outside linebacker in Nebraska. What about you?
Yeah, Randy Gregory, Nebraska.
So we disagreed on one pick, Oakland.
I'll have to revise my.
Oh, I got the same 4. I've just got Fowler
Just
in there.
different
I've just got
areas.
Fowler in there a little higher than you guys would.
That was fun though. I mean, we could do like a whole hour and a half, just a whole mock draft if you really wanted to.
And you know what? We'll all be 98% wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
We'll maybe have the first 2, and then after that, it's gonna be like, really?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
They actually have it now where you can do that for money.
Yeah.
You fill out a thing just like fantasy football or whatever, like at the pick'ems or whatever, and you pick all your picks and you can
Accuracy.
win, yeah, you pay $10 and you
Nice.
can win a pot. Like, come on now. You know. But that's all we got time for, guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you hanging in there through the long wait in between shows. We'll do another show probably prior to the draft, huh?
Yeah.
Right before. Once we get a little more info, we'll get another show going. Until then, you can follow us at the 1265 Report on Facebook. Don't forget to follow our guest, Burke Griffin, at Burke Griffin on Twitter. Don't forget to catch him on WFRV for all the latest on Wisconsin sports. Eric over here on Twitter, always doing his thing at Eric Upton. That's Eric with an A, RRICK, Upton, as in Kate Upton. And then you can follow myself at Mr. Paradise 24. And don't forget, all Wisconsin athletics, all Wisconsin ATH as an athlete. Until then, you guys enjoy the off season.